In this video, we're going to showcase a couple of brand new functions here inside EasyStone version 3 beta release 9. Here on the specialty tab, we have a new set of tools called Vinyl Essentials. And there's only a couple of functions currently, but this is something that we do plan on expanding on. But I wanted to show you what these tools do because they're quite interesting. And let's start with our vinyl spacer tool. So you can see here our basketball that we created in this design. There's a lot of different types of applications for this vinyl spacer tool, but let me just show you this example here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a basketball. And so we're going to grab, we've already created a circle. We're going to grab our 3-point curve tool and draw a line. And then we're going to draw a line going this direction, kind of also curved as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create our basketball part of our design. So we're just going to, and I'm just kind of making it up as I go here. So there is no exact setup here. Something like that. And then we'll do this one up here as well. We'll go here and we'll delete this node and maybe we'll smooth that one out and right click on this one and choose smooth. So, you know, we could spend a bunch more time, but you kind of get the idea. And then what we're going to do is use our Smart Fill tool and just click in each one of these sections, like so. And then what we want to do is we want to pick up all those green sections. So we'll do that here in EasyStone. We'll select one green section, and we'll just come over here to the Selection tab and hit Create Selection, and it will pick up all of those green selections. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this vinyl spacer tool. We're going to create an outline. Let's use 2 millimeters for this example. And everywhere there's an outline here, we're going to add a space. Now I will go ahead and select the entire design here. And then when we click vinyl spacer, it just converts those outlines into spaces. And there you go. That's it. So that is how we went about creating our little basketball there for this design, just to kind of give you an idea. And like I said, there's a lot of other applications for this little tool, but it's something I found myself doing over and over and over again. And rather than doing it manually here in CorelDRAW, I thought, well, why not just create a tool that will automatically do that for us? So that is what Vinyl Spacer does. Now the next tool I think will be even more exciting, and that is the inside overlap functions here. When you prepare a heat press vinyl design such as this, the way that it's typically done is we have one layer is one color. You see that gray is solid, and then we're going to take our black and it will be solid too. Grab them both here. So it's solid too, and of course it's going to sit directly on our gray like so. And then we would take our basketball here. Let's go ahead and make that one object. We take our basketball and put it on top of our black, and same with our mom, put it on top of black. So in certain areas we have 1, 2, 3 layers of color. And what happens is that becomes very heavy, especially on a t-shirt, a lightweight t-shirt. That becomes very heavy because you have 3 complete layers of color. Here in the main part of the design, you have 2 complete layers of color, which again gets pretty heavy on a shirt. Now the other drawback, of course, is when you're using regular heat press material, yes, you can layer directly on top of one another. However, when you're using glitter heat press material, that you cannot do a full overlay on. So that becomes problematic, or at least the manufacturers don't recommend that you do a full overlay on it. And glitter heat press material is quite thick anyhow, so you probably wouldn't want to do a full overlay even if you could. So what we need to do, where our black is sitting on top of our gray, we need to punch a hole. And likewise, where mom and our basketball is sitting on top of black, we need to punch a hole. Well, of course, we can do that with CorelDRAW, but it's several steps are involved, and of course you have to have the CorelDRAW knowledge as well. Well, I have the knowledge, but I don't have the patience. So because this is something that we do all the time, I decided, you know what, we need to create a function that will do this for us automatically. And so this is where the inside overlap comes into play. So when you're preparing your artwork, you always want to start with your top part of the design and work your way down. So for example, for mom and basketball here, I want to punch a hole in my tail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my tail and I'm going to mark it. This is the object to be trimmed, and then I'm going to select the objects where I want to create the trim with, choose inside overlap, and click on that button, and that's it. The software does the rest. So when I double click on my tail, do you see that little tiny overlap? All even in through mom here? That's that little tiny overlap is created for us. So you can see we've now punched a hole. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our gray and mark it, and then we're going to take our black and we're going to use it to punch a hole. Okay, well, we didn't select inside overlap, so we better do that. Then go ahead and choose overlap, and you can see it in fact does the same thing. So if we double click on our gray now you see that tiny bit of overlap. Now it is recommended, or at least I recommend, that we go ahead and select the entire thing, and we go ahead and choose this option to reduce nodes. If right now we have 377 nodes, previously we had 787. So I always reduce nodes after I get done there. I just think it just makes sense to do that. Do the same thing here with our tailpiece. We have 179 nodes. If we click on reduce nodes, now we only have 90. Okay, so it's just a good practice to get into, especially if we're converting to SVG. SVG doesn't like all those extra nodes. All right, so that's it. So you can see here we have our perfect overlap here, and then of course our gray, we have our perfect overlap happening there as well. Now if we look at these pieces individually, you can see how our gray is actually punched out. The other advantage, you can see this looks good just by its own too. So if you want to do a nice simple one color design, that gets the job done quite nicely. But then we also have our black with our tail punched out where the basketball and the mom go. So that is the new inside overlap feature. You're going to use that all the time when you're preparing your HTV designs, and our new vinyl spacer feature. Now the amount of overlap that's created here, we set that by default as 1 millimeter. Now we can modify that just by right clicking on overlap objects, and you can see I had previously modified this to 3/4 of a millimeter. So if we don't have anything specified, then the offset will automatically be 1 millimeter. Because that's what we typically would use. But if you want to use a different value, just right click, enter that value one time, and then from then on, when you choose that overlap function, it'll use that new value that you preset. All right, so anyhow, that's the new Vinyl Essentials tool here in EasyStone, and of course you get that by coming over here to the Specialty tab right there, Vinyl Essentials, and the vinyl spacer and the trapping function will be a welcome addition here to EasyStone. Thanks for watching.